ID, call forwarding, call waiting, and call blocking.
I think it's time you cut the blue wire.
Cut the blue wire. Save up to $250 on your phone features with RevVoice. Get RevVoice. Save money.
The IRS and the FBI being called in to investigate the Peter Nygard-Louis Bacon feud. One PLP cabinet minister says he's embarrassed over the whole thing. An update on the two Cubans who can't be found. Plus, we talk with a Bahamian man after he received life-changing surgery at PMH. We've got those stories and a whole lot more coming up tonight. I'm Kyle Joaquin, and ND12 starts now. Jerome Fitzgerald today said the IRS, the FBI, and the U.S. State Department are being contacted to look into American connections in the Bahamas that may be involved in the Peter Nygard-Louis Bacon feud. More news surrounding the issue, which has dominated debate during the mid-year budget in the House of Assembly, emerged as Fitzgerald detailed a trail of emails and made accusations of involvement on the part of members of the opposition.
The hustle in the Bahamas by these individuals was to entrap one Mr. Peter Nygard by trying to get him to agree or hire two known criminals to commit a serious crime of murder.
Calling it the Bahamian Hustle, the now real-life Bahamian version of the film The American Hustle, Fitzgerald called names and read emails in Parliament Thursday morning as he brought his own alleged evidence forward. He said he will talk some of the info and keep some, but when it does all come out, he promises it will shake the country to its core. His evidence, he said, shows that the whole thing, including the alleged hiring of hitmen, was a plot to trap Nygard and in the process bring down the government. Fitzgerald read a trail of emails in which names like Kirkland KB Bodie, Diane Phillips, and Michael Pintard are CC'd. The Marathon MP also pulled into the mix Justice for Marathon, the organization that rallied in support of Marathon constituents after news broke that government withheld the findings of that controversial report on the Rubis fuel leak. That report, he said, is a part of a plan by people trying to destabilize the government. Fitzgerald said based on all the info and trail of evidence he's seen, here are two things he's sure of.
Not one member on this side involved in anything with this matter. Not one. Not one single member. Not one single member of the PLP is involved with regard to this matter, this Bahamian hustle, Mr. Speaker. The second point I am absolutely sure about, Mr. Speaker, is that there are certain members in the FNM who mix right up in it. They tangle right up in it. They can't get out of it, Mr. Speaker.
Things got so heated that even the House Speaker had enough at one point. However, parliamentarians spent just about the whole morning session arguing over whether or not an affidavit sent out by Peter Nygard's public relations team in LA and forwarded by BIS Deputy Director Elcott Colby on Tuesday night should be tabled. If it is tabled, the document would become open to the public and available for the press to report. But government MPs have been arguing from Wednesday night for that not to happen. And although the Speaker indicated that he would have made the decision by this morning, he said he needed more time. But what he did do was allow Foxhill MP Fred Mitchell and Fort Charlotte MP Dr. Andre Rollins to argue why it should or should not be tabled.
And it seems to me that if it is referred to the Committee on Privileges, the committee would be entitled to understand whether there's been any money laundering involved in this, any criminal behavior, any political sabotage and sedition connected to this.
He said the committee would be able to follow the money trail and see who's really benefiting. But while Mitchell recommended it goes to the Committee of Privilege, Rollins said he knows that if that happens, nothing would come out of it.
A request for the convening of the Committee of Privilege is merely an attempt to bury or to kill what is an attempt to elucidate this issue, to deepen this democracy, and allow this matter to be aired and ventilated. But if you ask for a Committee on Privilege, the member full well knows that the next election will be called and that committee will not have issued any conclusion to the satisfaction of this House or the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
But National Security Minister Dr. Bernardo said that laying the document on the table would only prejudice the investigation.
As these matters are before the courts and therefore sub judice, it would be an impermissible intrusion into the role of the courts for this House to take cognizance of these matters.
But things got deeper. Central and South Eleuthera MP Damian Gomez is the chair of that committee of privilege. But he advised the House Speaker that if he decides to send it to the committee, he would have to resign as its chairman as he represents Peter Nygard in the civil litigation.
I would have to recuse myself because it will become a matter of public knowledge that I do represent both Mr. Nygard and Mr. Code Smith in the litigation that is started by a number of persons who are implicated by what has been said earlier.
Well, Agriculture Minister V. Alfred Gray walked out of the House of Assembly this afternoon outraged after Fitzgerald's morning contribution. Gray defended his party while questioning the integrity of the opposition. Simone Davis reports.
Gray says he's embarrassed and outraged because, in his opinion, every piece of evidence he's seen or heard points to a plot to destabilize the government of the Bahamas.
Quite honestly, I'm embarrassedly angry. First of all, I'm embarrassed because every bit of evidence so far coming to our attention by affidavits and otherwise point to the involvement of the Free National Movement through its chairman and conspiring with foreigners to destabilize the present government of the Bahamas. Something is wrong with that. No matter what your political position is, whether you FNM, DNA, PLP, we are Bahamians. We could fight our own fight.
After it was alleged in Parliament that Save the Bays got millions of dollars directed to it, the Agriculture Minister also questioned why a non-profit
and millions of dollars being paid to singers, and I don't want to go into the name calling, environmentalists. If you are an environmentalist and you have an organization which is said to be money free, they don't work for profit, it's non-profit. Why are the members being paid so handsomely if it's a non-profit organization?
After criticisms flared that Free National Movement Chairman Michael Pintard allegedly knew of potential criminal matters and failed to report them to police, Gray questioned the integrity of the entire opposition. Gray stood by his belief that the entire Nygard ordeal was a plot to ruin the reputation of his party. After criticisms flared that Free National Movement Chairman
That's got to be wrong. Let them win or lose on the merit of what they stand for, with and for on behalf of the Bahamian people, not in conspiracy with foreigners to overthrow their government. That's wrong, and anybody who thinks that's okay, I have to ask psychiatrists to come in and give them a shot or something, man.
When pressed by reporters to respond to criticisms that the PLP received funds from Nygard in the past, Gray said it's not illegal to give contributions to a political party, and he doesn't know why it's such a big issue now.
No. No less a person than the Prime Minister acknowledged that Peter Nygard made a contribution to the PLP during the last election.
Will he say how much?
He didn't know how much, because he don't handle the PLP's money. You have to ask the chairman that. But he didn't have, and he said too that giving contributions to political party is not a crime.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Simone Davis.
St. Anne's MP Hubert Chipman says he is surprised at some of the names mentioned in the Nygard-Bacon matter in the House of Assembly today. Chipman said while he does not know all the persons involved, the fact that the FNM's chairman was named left him baffled.
What transpired in the House this morning and last night with the redact and the clean affidavit was a total shock to me. I think this morning most of the time was spent trying to clarify that. As with regards to the contribution that was being made by the Minister of Education this morning, I'm in total shock as to what these organizations were supposed to be as far as Save the Bay and who the players were behind Save the Bay. I'm not aware of, I do not know, I've never met Mr. Bacon, I've never met Mr. Nygard, so I don't know these people, all right? As far as Fred Smith in Save the Bay, I knew he was a part of Save the Bay. I knew C.B. Moss was a part of Save the Bay. I didn't know all the players until they were named in the House of Assembly today.
Chipman said he believes these issues would take a toll on the country's reputation and discourage foreign investors from working with the government and investing in the Bahamas.
To be honest with you, I think when I really look at it is I don't like what I'm hearing, that politics in the Bahamas is being influenced by outsiders. Particularly when it comes to Mr. Nygard or Mr. Bacon. I think what we really need to get a hold of is right now, at this particular time, there is no law against contributions to the various political parties. It may be we have to reform campaign contributions and finances. And only then that, we will be able to get some control of it.